I asked artists on Fiverr to paint some Kitbash Hive Scum. Here is how they did. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who love building and kitbashing, but can't stand painting. We're gonna pretend I'm one of those people, and get some Hive Scum painted for the new Necromunda release using Fiverr. Thank you to Fiverr for sponsoring. Looking through the site, there are a metric buttload of artists to choose from. But before we get to that, we have to kitbash some scum. I first made a few mockups in Photoshop to plan things out. I like doing this when I don't have a clear image of what I want to do. It also allows me to test different color schemes. I went with a blue for the suit and mask, and yellow for their gloves. You can also make a really cool sketch like this if you don't have Photoshop. Once I had something I was happy with, it was time to get to action. I assembled all of the Hive Scum bodies and added arms from the Gene Stealer Cult Neophyte kit to a few of them. Some of the arms had little gaps that I filled in with sprue goo, which is sprue melted in plastic cement. Then I smoothed out the goo with clean plastic cement. Since we like printing on this channel, I also printed out a few arms from the Maker's Cult Ironblood Plotters kit at 95% scale and set them in place. I had to cut them a little to fit under the shoulder pads. Oh, also shout out to Ren Momo for recommending Sunlu and their ABS-like resin. It seems flexible and durable. I haven't had a print failure yet with it. These are going to be shipped all over, so hopefully they withstand that whole process. The last thing left were the heads. Printed Encounter once again made the heck out of these, based on some wasteland cyberpunk concept art I drew. These are now available to my Patreon supporters in my model and bits box. Check out Printed Encounter too. He's fantastic and tremendously helps the channel. He's always releasing great models on his own Patreon too. I assembled a few variations in Blender, printed them out, and glued them on. I'm super happy with how the Hive Scum turned out, and it was kinda nice getting back to a little physical kitbashing. Okay, now to find some people to paint these on Fiverr. I turned on a filter that only shows me people located in the US to try to keep shipping down. I tried to match the Hive Scum to the images on each Fiverr profile. The pick-wielding lady has hair, and Turner Thompson had a nice picture of painted blonde hair on his page. Perfect. Next was Hobbying Along, whose premium package said there was going to be some extreme highlighting and fine detailing. The image of the orc on his page had some wildly good armor on it, so I went with the most armored Hive Scum for him. Treehouse Minis had a lot of great cloth painted, so the guy with the horn and padded armor seemed perfect for him to do. Last up will be Simply Shaw, who had a great rating with lots of positive reviews. I gave him the happy guy with the armor plate on his chest to him. I messaged them all and included an image of the mock-up and a color swatch for them to match colors to. I've added links in the description to all the sellers if you want to use their services. With everyone selected and the minis shipped, all I had to do was wait. In the meantime, you can get a bunch of services off of Fiverr. One is art. I was scrolling through their art section and I came across One's C. I messaged him and poof, an awesome design. One's C was a pleasure to work with. If you want to get a hold of this Japanese cyberpunk-inspired sweatshirt of our little ghost friend, head on over to my merch page in the description. It's super soft and comfortable. Also, make sure to check out 1C. About a month later, everything arrived. Time to open these bad boys. They all survived with no chipping or breaks, which feels like a miracle. Also, most everyone reached out and asked if I wanted to make any changes during their painting process. A few painted the masks silver instead of blue like I described, and was able to make a revision to fix it. Other than that, I wanted to keep this as realistic as possible and not give too many revisions or suggestions. First up is Hobbying Along, who painted the guy with all the armor. There was some amazing rusty weathering on this guy, especially on the mask. There was also some fantastic edge highlighting on the armor. The eyes were also very cool looking to boot. Next was Turner Thompson, who painted the pick-wielding lady. The first thing that stood out is how well the eyes were painted. Also, the white shoulder pad looks great, and I'd love to know how it was done. Yellow is a notoriously hard color to get right, and he got a great bold yellow. He also added a custom base using epoxy and a roller, which turned out great. Next is Simply Shaw. The blue is probably the closest out of all the Hive Scum to the color on the swatch that I had included. The fabric has some great highlighting to it. Also, I love how the chest plate turned out. Last is Treehouse Minis. He painted the heck out of this Hive Scum with the cleaver. Treehouse Minis has a really cool grimdark style. He even went the extra mile and added blood splattering. The little dot highlights on the eyes are impressively small. He had an incredible attention to detail. I think they all turned out great. My one bit of feedback for everybody is that it's difficult to color match. Personally, I would have appreciated some white expression lines on their eyes to add a bit more expression and character as depicted on the mock-ups too. But overall, incredible. It's not a competition or anything, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you liked the most and why. Thanks again to Fiverr for making this possible. Don't forget to check out all the amazing painters using the links in the description, as well as Printed Encounter who made the awesome Hive Scum heads. It's not easy having such a quick turnaround and painting under pressure. It's been a minute since I've done a 3D Kitbash on here, so stay tuned for my 3D Kitbashed version of these guys. Thanks for watching, and an extra thanks to my Patreon supporters. I greatly appreciate y'all. Make sure to check out my merch page if you want one of those hoodies. Like and subscribe. Alright, bye-bye.